Well, good day everyone. Craig back at you. Well, as you can see, I am really not out on my 2014 Honda Valkyrie today. It is still wintertime up here in Buffalo, New York, and so what I was doing was looking at some of the previous videos that I had taken, just some footage. I couldn't even tell you where I was going here or what I was doing or anything like that. Really couldn't tell you, but this is what I do in the wintertime. I look at some of the footage that I had taken earlier throughout the year when it was warmer, just to put me back in the frame of mind that hopefully within a couple months we'll be back out on the motorcycles and really getting some more wind therapy in. So, but as I was, as we do here in the Northeast, as we think about riding, because we can't ride, a topic really came to mind that I wanted to discuss, and I figured instead of just having my face up on the screen and looking at my ugly mug, I would just throw on some previous footage. So again, it's previous footage, it's nothing new. But the thought that I wanted to bring up today was, do you have an emotional attachment to your motorcycle? And the reason I bring that up, in this video, I'm out on my 2014 Honda Valkyrie. And I've had that bike for a couple years now. And I also have, for those of you that follow the channel, a 2018 Honda Goldwing. And this winter, I started to think about, hey, when spring comes, maybe I'll sell my Valkyrie and I'll just stick with the Goldwing. And every time I thought about selling the Valkyrie, I just said, I can't sell it. I can't sell it. I have this, attachment to it. And I started to think about, well, why would I or anyone have an attachment to really what's an inanimate object? It's a machine. It's nuts and bolts and the engine and everything like that. And why would anyone be attached to a motorcycle? And why would you hold on to a motorcycle? Because I really, thought about it. And it took me a minute to really say, I can't sell that bike, and really I could. Let me back up. I could sell it. There's nothing stopping me from selling my motorcycle and just going down to one. But when I started to think about it, what really came to mind is that I am sort of emotionally attached to this bike. And that, as odd as that sounds, I kind of understand why. And here's my hypothesis on this. There's an attachment to a bike because, unlike other things, you go through experiences with your motorcycle that you might not with other, pieces of items or property that you might have that you might want to sell. And I say that to say this. So when I'm looking at my Valkyrie, I think about my Valkyrie. That's the first motorcycle that I've ever owned. And the first, what I considered long distance trip. I went, 60 miles to go get something to eat and then 60 miles back on that motorcycle. And that was just like a feat. I never in my life would have thought that I could go 60 whole miles on a bike and then on a motorcycle and then come back. And so I remember that. And then, some of the other places that I've gone on that bike and I have gone places that it's like having a friend that you're with, that you experience things with that no one else there's no one else around to experience with you. The Honda Goldwing, when I went down to Wingding in 2019, took the Goldwing down to Nashville, Tennessee, experienced that whole ride, me and the Goldwing. And again, it's an inanimate object, I understand that, but I do understand the attachment that people have and why it's not as easy just to sell a bike or get rid of a bike. And think of the terms that we use when we talk about selling our bikes. Let's say you can't ride. For whatever reason, let's say it's your work schedule, let's say, it's an injury, whatever it is, you can't get out on your bike and you can't ride the way that you used to. You might, put that bike up for sale, and the thought process you'll use is, well, I want to sell my bike because, she deserves or it deserves or he deserves, whatever, however you categorize your bike, it deserves to be ridden. It's just sitting in my garage and no one's riding it. It deserves to be ridden. And when you really think about that, now does the bike have feelings? Does it get mad? Is it sad? Is it depressed because no one's going into the garage and getting on it and starting up and riding it? Absolutely not. But we make that emotional attachment to our bikes. And even to the point where we give our bikes names. That's one of the things that we do, whether we give it a name like Pearl or whatever it is, or, whatever name you give your bike. Some people, they'll give it a name. Some people just refer to it as her, or the old gal, or him, or whatever it is, or I know a lot of guys refer to their bikes as their mistress. We almost humanize our bike to make it seem like it is a best friend. And so I started to think about that. That's why it is difficult to get rid of bikes. It's difficult to sell bikes. It's difficult to let them go because when you subconsciously feel, when I let that bike go, I'm letting part of me go that has experienced things with me. It was just me and my bike that did this. It's just me and my bike that did this. Me and my Harley that went here. It's me and my Harley that went to Sturgis. It's me and my Suzuki that went to Myrtle Beach. It's me, whatever the bike is. That you feel like there's a little piece of you that's going to go away if that bike is not there. And I think that's one of the reasons why, for some of us, it's difficult to let that bike go. Even when we go to get a new bike, trade a bike in and go get a new bike, there is some kind of attachment to let that bike go. And maybe it's different from, maybe we feel that way about our cars. I don't know. I just feel like your motorcycle is a little bit different than your automobile. But I want to get some feedback. Am I crazy? Am I overthinking? And I will say this, there's always exceptions to the rules. I know there are some people that a motorcycle is a motorcycle where they could care less. They buy 50 of them in a year and trade them out, and they could care less. You give them the right amount of money and you can buy any one of them, and they don't think twice about it. But for some of us that have had our bikes for a long time, is there anything, do you have that emotional attachment to your bike, or could you just let your bike go right now? Somebody walks in and let's say, your bike is worth $5,000. Somebody walks in and says, I'll give you $8,000 right now. You can keep, can I take that bike off your hands? Can you let it go quick? Or do you pause for a second? Because you feel that when that bike goes, part of you goes. So just food for thought. Just me sitting around in the wintertime, with just thinking about riding motorcycles, getting ready for it. But do you have an emotional attachment to that motorcycle? Let me know what your comments are. As always, I say, get out there, enjoy life, do what you want to do, ride your motorcycle, go to a movie, just whatever it is that you find enjoyment in doing, go bowling, whatever it is that you find enjoyment in doing. Life is too short to sit around and not enjoy yourself. So take advantage of the day, take advantage of the time that you have, and enjoy yourself. And we'll be talking to you soon. Thanks a lot. Take care.